I find myself once again having to prove myself to you and to all of you. You're gonna see a side of me that you've never seen before. I am not a nostalgia act, and I sure as hell am nobody's sidekick.
Trish with Stratus.
It's our body of work, a group of women, strong, powerful, athletic women who could kick ass in the ring.
And a widow's peak.
And I'm here to make sure none of you forget it.
Welcome to Beer and Ring the Bell. This is DS.
And the Sriracha Muchacha, Paloma Star.
I'm your dad bod demigod who was victorious at Effie's Big Gay Brunch. I'm Joey Mayberry.
Representing Ring the Bell.
Yeah, Ring the Bell got a shout out. It was the best.
Part of the Ring the Bell YouTube channel that just recently achieved 100,000 subscribers.
Yes.
Thank you, Val. Love you, Val.
This weekend we had so many wrestling events. It was like crazy. AEW was in Chicago. We got Payback, and then we also didn't talk about All In last weekend. So we're gonna talk about all of it in this one video.
AEW is like the hokey pokey. We go all in and then we go all out.
So let's start with WWE Payback because I got a lot to say.
I bet you do.
Who wants to go first?
My name is DS, and I have a lot to say.
So we got Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch inside Steel Cage. And I gotta say, I was a little worried.
You know what I got to say?
What?
Shut the f*** up.
That video is so funny.
Epic. I love the comments of everybody. It was like, should have been me. I'm like, I would have paid so much money for that.
Let's talk about the looks.
Oh my gosh.
Trish Stratus looks so freaking good. Her hair was on point, that coat, that gear, everything.
Like,
Trish, if you are watching, do not leave that coat unattended.
No.
I will find
I
it.
cannot believe and wrap my head around how Trish looks so good.
Yeah.
Like, how? It's amazing. Anything that she's doing it right. Because obviously, look at how amazing she looks. But you're right. That gear was amazing, that coat. And it's always her Trish brand, but still elevated after all these years.
And she just like walks out and she exudes even more confidence.
Yeah,
like,
like
even back in the day, she had so much of it, but now she just walks out and like, okay, that's mother energy.
And what's funny was that they had a matching gear. Becky and Trish had a matching color.
I didn't know she was wearing the illusion until like halfway in the match. Like part of her illusion thing was all like weird and crumpled up. I'm like, oh no, what's wrong with her skin?
It's peeling, skin's peeling.
Like that's how hard they're hitting each other. I was like, oh, she's just wearing the illusion. I liked it if she wasn't wrestling in it. If that makes sense.
It's my pet peeve whenever the skin illusion, the nude illusion is a different color.
Yeah.
If they tanned a little bit too much, or if it starts like wrinkling.
You know what was also giving me a little bit? Like a different version of Charlotte's gear from SummerSlam.
Which SummerSlam?
This recent one. She was wearing that red thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. The lingerie. I love Becky's hair. I love the blonde many pieces at the front. For sure. She looks so good.
So where do we even start with this match?
Match of the year. Period. Hands down, nothing's gonna beat that.
And I'm not even being like, we're not even being biased about it, obviously. I mean, see, I changed the painting, by the way. I wanted to have some AEW representation here. This match it blew me out of water.
Like spot after spot after spot. Like as soon as Becky like rammed Trish's head into the cage and that welt started forming, I was like, this is gonna be amazing.
The thing is, there was no need for this match to go as hard as it did.
That part.
But it did. Like, okay, Trish and Becky, we already know you're legends among legends as it is. But the fact that they went out there and delivered that match, it's kind of like, y'all don't want to put us on SummerSlam? All right, well, we'll deliver a banger of a match.
Now, last time I was on here, I did that whole rant about people calling out Trish for that botched stratosphere.
Yeah.
I think she was reading comments like that, and she was very much like, shut the f*** up.
Right. Because there were a lot of haters, I gotta say. Like, storyline has been going for a while. And it's like, first time in a while that WWE had a long-term storytelling. People are like, we are bored. And I'm like, well, shut the hell up. Because they delivered. And yes, their matches before, especially the singles match on Raw, was a little bit wonky.
Yeah, wonky.
And that kind of got naysayers to be like, oh, Trish was only good because she's of that era. She can't hang with the people from nowadays. So Trish really had a heavy responsibility to show everyone that, divas of that era era could go, and they could be as good or if not better than current crop of talent.
And like, correct me if I'm wrong, has anyone ever done that hang spot like Trish did on the outside?
I was terrified. Yeah. The trust you have in your knees in the steel cage is insane. And the fact that she, no hesitation, literally just flew herself back and said, well, here goes anything and everything. Like, just hang there. I could not imagine, like, that view that probably nobody, like, maybe no other person in the world has seen. But she literally just hung there for a little bit and just, like, came right back up. I'm like, what in the actual was that?
It really got me, though. There's a part that, like, I cracked up when that happened, was Michael Cole on commentary is saying something along the lines of, what if Trish escapes from here? And I'm like, you mean fall and die, Cole? Like, that's what you're thinking she's gonna do?
I don't love steel cage matches because for steel cage matches to go like bam, you have to do something off of the top of the steel cage. Everyone kind of expect that, so if that doesn't happen, it's kind of like, okay, whatever. And knowing Trish and Becky, I didn't expect them to do so much on top of the steel cage.
I did not expect to see a woman who is pushing 50 take a superplex from the top of a steel cage.
That was wild.
They didn't have to do that. That match would have been amazing if they didn't do that spot. But the fact that they did do it and they sold it so well, I will still say a superplex is one of the best and easiest high spots to do because you can literally put it in every match and everybody's gonna pop for it. I love doing it and taking it because it looks so crazy and scary, and it's not. But from a steel cage match, yes it is. Like it was insane, and I think this match started off so well. The pacing of it was so good. There was a lot of crazy high energy spots, but they started off hot too, so they almost like set that like precedent, like, okay, this is what it's gonna be like, and it should be that way because the feud has been going on for so long. But I also feel like the feud has been going on for so long because they didn't have their match in SummerSlam. I feel they kind of had to like string it along this long, but it worked out. I am glad. I mean, I never thought I'd be the one to say this, but if this is the result we got versus like a 5-6 minute match, then I'm glad that they didn't have their match on SummerSlam.
Right. Yeah. We have to talk about Trish has been vocal for years about Victoria needing to get that recognition from WWE. And I'm so glad that she did an homage. And Becky too. They did an homage to the first two people of the first ever women's steel cage match on Raw, Victoria and Lita. And when that Widow's Peak hit and she did that.
She didn't have to do the taunt. The fact that she did the taunt at the end was just like, mwah, and like icing on the cake. At
first I thought, I was like, oh my gosh, it's awesome. But I didn't think the commentators would acknowledge it. But I'm so glad that they did, because I think that was like a cherry on top, or like the little baby's breath on top of her flowers for Victoria to get them. And also, I'm so glad she went online and she was so appreciative and so much love she was getting that she deserves. Definitely Victoria deserves all the love.
All right, this is my second time doing this video because I already broke down in tears and I'm gonna break down in tears again. I just want to say thank you, Trish. Doing the Widow's Peak on the show Payback. I'm so proud of you. I love you so much. You're so important to me. And gosh, our history, man. Holy moly. The stories. Oh gosh. But I just want to say I love you so much. And thank you. Big kisses. Okay.
But I think it's really cool to pay homage to the two women that came before them.
What she truly deserves is that Hall of Fame induction.
Yes!
Let's get to it! Yeah. The top rope bulldog to Stratusfaction was so good.
Yep. You know what my favorite Stratusfaction of the match was in, I can't remember what part it was. I think maybe near the end where she hit it from the second row. So good. It's so crisp. It looked like it was more impact than the top rope.
Yeah. And even the little things, when she did her bulldog from the top and she was sounding like, yeah, you should, because that's gonna hurt when you land on your ass from the top rope.
I have personal experience.
Right? Yeah. Seriously, that it's not fun. I definitely have had a bruised tailbone before. It is the worst.
I was watching this film with my boyfriend, and he was like loving how Trish was so vocal throughout the match. She was like, it's classic Trish.
Take notes, all you legends who want to come back like Goldberg and whoever is out there. This is how you do a legendary comeback when you're a legend, because so many of them, I feel, just like phone it in because they can, because they've already put in the work, they already paid their dues, and so they can't. But Trish said, nope, screw that. I mean, she didn't even have to prove that she can hang with Becky or with anybody, because we already know that she can. But the fact that she brought in everything, pushed herself and Becky, this totally elevated both of them, because I feel like a lot of times when legends get brought in, it's only to put themselves over, maybe like put one person over, like one match and that's it. But this like elevated the whole women's division and what the standard of a steel cage match is for women in general.
The fact that Trish came back like almost 20 years after her retirement coupled her best match of the career to have another best match of her career.
This might be best match of her career.
I think so. Match of the year. It's wild to me that Trish would do that 20 years later. I mean, not 17 years? 17? Yeah. Mind-blowing for me.
And I love that they mentioned Goldberg because it's really kind of parallel to Trish going really hard and then Goldberg going way too hard for 5 minutes and then coming too fast.
But here's the thing, I don't want to say these stuff, but the fact is, when Trish does that one botch, people will be like, oh, grandma should pack up, blah, blah, blah. The standards for what people expect from women is so high.
Yes.
The level of perfection is so high for the women, even for someone like Trish Stratus, who's a f***ing legend. Men legend can just walk around and they're like, best.
Oh my god, he did a clothesline.
Yeah, like, Trish had to do this, and like, she shut everyone down. Yeah.
She shut everyone down. She broke her own glass ceiling.
Yeah, totally. And that picture that she shared afterwards with the caption, just like chef's kiss for sure. The caption, how she looked, was absolutely amazingly brutal. That weld on her head, and you could already tell it was from her because she was like getting her head surrounded. But it was one time where she's like, ow. Because you could always tell when like people are like selling like but then see my flower just like
this is the reason why she's my idol. She pushes herself all the time.
Oh, for real, seriously. Like that proves that no matter where you're at in your career, age-wise, life-wise, if you like really applied yourself and you're amazing. I mean not all of us can be Trish Stratus, but we could strive to be a little bit of stratified in us.
And I love that she said thank you Becky in her. So I feel like that storyline has ended. Were you upset that Lita wasn't here?
I thought it was dumb that she hasn't come back yet. Like, that's the only flaw I've had in this entire storyline is, like, when she took Lita out, she really didn't take Lita out.
No.
Like, she was conscious and being like, ow, my head. And that was about it. And it's like, where'd you go, girl?
No, I would have liked seeing Lita here, but then also at the same time, the storyline really ends with Becky beating both of them at the same time. So I did appreciate that.
I wouldn't mind, honestly, when Zoe ran out and slammed the door on Becky, if it was a vice versa, and Lita slamming the door on Trish. Like, that's all I would have needed.
That would have been great, too, because that's a callback, right? So after this match, Zoe turned on Trish Stratus.
I loved that. And it, like, no disrespect to Zoe Stark. Like, she looked like $1 million. Z360. I love when she hit it. Trish sold it brilliantly. But just the moments before that with Trish being like, get out.
Yeah.
Get out. I loved that.
Yeah.
So many good facial expressions in this match, for sure. I mean, obviously, the spots were obviously there, but I feel like really hit the nail on the head with those facials.
Even that selling, because girlies on main roster hasn't been really selling Z360 very well. I'm sorry. But Trish showed everyone
this is how you take it.
How to sell. So after the air was off, thank you Trish chant, you deserve it chant, and she definitely deserves it.
I'm kind of excited to where this leaves the women's division because I feel like this is a great, like, all right, wrap it up with the bow and stuff, but I feel like now Zoe Starks and like Becky and whoever can go from there.
So there was some interaction between Tiffany Stratton and Becky Lynch.
Which is kind of like Becky now faces the next Trish Stratus.
One thing you learn while watching wrestling is life can throw you a curveball anytime. Injuries can happen at any moment. And that's where I introduce Morgan & Morgan. It's 21st century law firm that's changing the game when it comes to injury claims. Now, I know what you're thinking. Contacting a lawyer, is that really necessary? Well, I gotta tell you, it's a total no-brainer. In the unfortunate event of, say, a car accident, your first move should be calling a personal injury attorney and no need to worry about chingle. With Morgan & Morgan, it won't cost you a dime unless they win you a case. But the other thing is submitting a claim can be a headache. It's scary, it seems complicated, but not anymore. With Morgan & Morgan, you can just submit a claim in just 8 clicks or less. No more stuffy law offices or endless consultations, just you, your phone, and 8 simple clicks. And the best part is you can do it all on your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan has modernized the injury law process. You can submit all the case details, sign contracts, upload documents, and even share your medical records with just a few swipes. And you can also text your attorney and legal team throughout your case. It's like having a legal team in your pocket. So don't let doubts hold you back, protect your rights, and let Morgan & Morgan fight tooth and nails to get you that compensation you rightly deserve with 8 clicks or less to submit a claim. So if you're injured in an accident, you can submit a claim at www.forthepeople.com/ringthebell or by dialing #law. That's #5 529 on your phone. Thank you, Morgan and Morgan.
Okay, let's move to the next match. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodirguez for the World Women's Championship.
Can I just say first and foremost, Rhea bloody Ripley looked like a million freaking
China-inspired outfit.
Amazing.
so gorgeous.
Amazing.
Like, loved every part of that. And also, I love this hairdo on her. Like, her hair looks amazing.
I think not a lot of people can pull it off, but Rhea can
you're
pull
right.
it off. I think you could pull it off.
Demi Lovato? I mean, she looks sexy as hell. I was like looking at her, I feel like, should I be looking at her? Because it's like so sexy.
Raquel's gear versus Rhea, it was giving me very Eddie Guerrero China.
I thought so too. I thought so too.
So what do we think of this match?
I liked it. It was solid, but also I feel like we got that first match that
Right.
set the pace, not only for the whole show, but any other women's match that it came after.
Right.
I think it'd be kind of a hard comparison. I think it was just solid. I just can't say like, oh, it was great. It had me at the edge of my seat and stuff like that. It was definitely a different pacing, but it needed to be a different pacing. Like there was no way it could like be so hard hitting as it was. I mean, you have two awesome big powerhouses of women going at each other. It should be like, you know, rams locking up like how it was at the beginning. But it just wasn't fully there for me.
Yeah, which is really weird because we've seen them collide in NXT and it was so intense and so hard hitting. This one just seemed like they were telling Raquel to hold back a little bit, was what it felt like.
It was giving appetizer. Raquel has that stupid injury situation. She's not injured, everyone. She's not fucking injured, but the thing is, like, Raquel is supposed to be the most powerful woman in WWE, but she has an injury situation. It's un poco not give it.
I did love that they focused so much on Rhea drop kicking Raquel in the face and her coming up and like wiping the nose, like her blood on her nose. That made it look cool and like tough and like, wow, this is really physical match. But I feel like that was the only real big spot that they like focused that on. I kind of wanted them to like go harder, like kind of like focus on the physicality of it. I almost feel like we were told they're strong and powerful as opposed to being shown.
You know what? I actually did really enjoy the early part of the match when they were both going at each other with sheer power.
Yeah.
It felt like a kaiju fight. It was like power versus power. And I'm like, I don't really remember the last time we saw this type of match in the women's division of just like sheer power versus sheer power.
I'm trying to think of like whom Nia might have faced possibly. It's like
Nia versus Ronda? But Ronda wasn't like a power. So I felt like this had a lot of promises to be something big that we haven't really tasted in the women's division. They just didn't go there. I think it intentionally didn't go there.
I really hope this storyline isn't continuing.
Isn't?
I hope it isn't. I don't know. It's just not giving, and I think it's because they literally stripped down Raquel as a character. Like in NXT, she was so badass, and like literally she was mommy in NXT, and literally she was coming out there, and you knew what she was all about. Now her gimmick is I'm Latina and I have a back.
She speaks Spanish.
Some
here and there.
This is why my Sriracha Muchacha got stolen.
I feel like their gimmick was they're just trying to make her Valentina. They're like, go out there and smile. It's beautiful. Like, that's about it.
The crowd isn't behind Raquel, and I don't think it's necessarily too much of her own fault because they're not really giving her anything to work with.
Right.
But I also feel like as a wrestler that you're not necessarily getting the time or the character or whatever you're trying to. You kind of like have to make what you can from it. I feel like that's what Rhea did. Like she was taking whatever little bit that she was given and just like ran with it. I think Raquel needs to find what that thing is for her. Raquel just needs to find that thing that just works for her.
Well, so at the end of the match, Dom Dom came out. Raquel did like do a power slam on Dom Dom, I think.
Yeah, but
which was cool.
Why is it so cool? He's lighter than Rhea. Like,
That is true.
It left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, all it left me wondering was like, okay, can like Dom start wrestling like Raquel? That'd be kind of cool. Like if they're not, something. Like Raquel really just needs something because I want to like this match more and I want to like her more, but it's just like
So what do you think is next for Rhea? Who's the next challenger?
I don't know. See, that's the thing about WWE. They don't do a really good job of building like sub storylines or like brewing some good stuff that could come up. But
Zoe Stark.
Oh, maybe. You know, with Survivor Series coming up too, maybe we might be seeing Io versus Raquel.
Okay, that'd be fun. That's a really fun one.
All right, let's move to AEW All In, All Out. We got 2 matches to talk about. The AEW, well, because they don't really give a lot of women's matches.
No.
But whatever.
But I digress.
So from last week, All In, we got the Fatal 4-Way match for the AEW Women's World Championship. We got Hikaru Shida, the champion, versus Britt Baker, Toni Storm, and Saraya in London Wembley Stadium.
Definitely like a big match field. It was awesome. All her family come out with her. So cute.
With
I
the
love that.
music.
Yes, the crowd was so into it. I loved it.
Yeah, with the gear,
Yeah.
I mean the UK flag gear, that looks really cute. Also, Hikaru Shida had a really sexy... Oh, you have something to say.
Oh, yes, thoughts.
Oh, Joey has something to
Has
say.
thoughts.
I hated this match. It was so... Okay, the entrances, they came out, they all looked great. They looked ready to go. The whole hometown thing for Paige was absolutely wonderful. And then at the end, her winning the bell, everyone cheering. It's this big comeback from a broken neck. It's what they should have done for Lita. But legitimately, it was a beautiful moment. It was just everything between those entrances and that finish I was just not about. This match just seemed so chaotic and so not put together in like a really organic way.
It feels like they had a lot of good ideas and could have edited some out. I feel like a lot of spots were just on top of each other where I couldn't even appreciate the good spots that they did have. Where it was still like, okay, we're on to another one. And like, we're on. It's almost like tripping all over yourself, like trying to like. They probably it honestly felt like their match got cut.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want to get all my shit in, but my match got cut.
It was 8 minutes. It was the shortest match in the entire freaking card.
For 4 people. And having a championship match, 8 minutes?
Yeah.
You can't do anything in 8 minutes.
I thought the match was cute.
But should it be cute? should a match?
Thank you.
And at the Wembley Arena Stadium, that's like the biggest, wrestling match for a championship or like a great homecoming for Saraya.
True.
Should it be cute,
True.
It should literally have been something that makes you go, oh my god, because this is like literally, how long has it been since Paige got injured and left?
7 years, I think. I don't know, a long time.
Been a long time.
It's been a really long time, and now you've built this up to be like, oh my god, she's in her home country, she's finally getting a championship match. Like, the woman had a freaking movie made about her life. This should be a really big deal, and it just wasn't.
Yeah.
She had a broken freaking neck.
Come on, Kurt Angle.
I really like the Mother and Toni Storm spot. Okay, I've been actually loving Toni Storm.
Oh my god, amazing.
She's so good.
With her new, Hollywood star gimmick. I think she's killing it since, after she lost her title, I feel like she's killing it.
Yeah.
I love it. So, her interaction with the mom and how, Outcast dissension was happening in this match I was like, this is kind of fun. Because Outcast, much promise they had, wasn't really delivering. So,
I wanted, and I feel like a lot of AEWs, I really wanted to deliver. I really wanted to work, but then it doesn't. Kind of like the whole, Outsiders storyline.
Okay.
Outcasts, Outsiders.
I love hearing y'all talk about this because shout out to Moxie Molly. We've been saying this since 2019? Outcast thing, having multiple shows where that storyline's kind of continuing is a blessing.
Yeah.
There hasn't really been anything since that. It's just they start a storyline, then the next week they're like, well, we're going to forget about that. And then 2 months down the line, they're like, you remember what happened 2 months ago? And we're like, no. We don't.
That is true.
I feel also this match, especially the finish, kind of left more questions than answers while it was a very feel-good moment. And I'm so glad she got that moment.
Yeah.
We all know that she's not wrestling as many matches as she was because obviously she has a broken neck. She came back with that. So it's amazing that she could even wrestle in general. But I feel like Saraya has a limited schedule, as she should, to take care of her body and her neck. I was just what happens?
Yeah, you know what? That is a concern for a lot of the fans. The future of women's division with Saraya as a women's champion, I don't know. I mean, she brings a lot of star power. And
She really does.
We'll see. She says she wants to wrestle a lot more.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's not because she doesn't want to.
Right.
I'm sure if it was up to her, she would be out there wrestling every night. But
and I mean, they're also building up because there was one of the spots that irked me in this match the most was when Toni was about to go for the butt in the corner.
Love her flying butts.
Love her.
everywhere. It's just
Everybody
butt everywhere. Yeah.
I love a good flying butt. I do a flying butt. It's such a good move. But legitimately, when Ruby ran out and was like, "No, don't do it.
Yeah.
Her neck." And then all of a sudden, like, I can't remember what happened, but like 2 seconds later, Ruby was just like, "I'm gonna leave the ring, break her neck. I don't care," and just walked up the ramp.
Because she attacked her. Toni attacked her.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Like, but why are you leaving then? Like, none of that made sense. Like, what was the point?
But thing that I loved was the curb stomp spot.
God, that was beautiful.
That was good. I gotta say, we didn't say anything about Britt Baker, which is crazy because she was the biggest force in the AEW Women's Division.
Mm-hmm.
Since turning face, she's been just so
I think that's another one of my things that got me was like her and Shida were complete afterthoughts in this match.
Yeah, I agree. And I almost like forgot that she was in the match until you brought her up. Like, oh yeah, she was in there. But I just feel like Britt does such a better work in general in the ring and the mic as a heel.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like I see her as a heel. So when she's not a heel, I'm just like, oh, okay.
I did laugh a lot when, because the only counter to the lockjaw like Shida could do was just go. I was very excited for this match. I just think it was put together like a puzzle in the dark. Like,
That's a good way of putting it.
But let's talk about another match that happened. So All Out, we had another match because they don't really give a lot of women's matches.
No.
When I saw ROH Women's Champion Athena and TBS Champion Kris Statlander not even invited to Wembley Stadium, I'm kind of like, this is fucking disrespectful.
They could at least been there in the crowd or something. Like they could at least had a shot. You know how like with like Tiffany and them when they were in the front row and stuff. Show them.
I almost forgot. Oh, but before we move, we have to talk about who was in the crowd.
Oh,
Because that was the biggest headline coming out of it. Mercedes Moné.
oh,
You forgot?
I did forget.
What?
I do remember that. I feel like I saw more stills of that than any part of the match.
Yeah.
Also, forgive me for not remembering things. I have a scar on the side of my face. I got kicked in the head this weekend. Forgive me.
Okay, Mercedes Moné finally being on AEW TV was huge news.
And she literally was just sitting there. Like that's the fact that she produced that much news by just being there and sitting there in attendance. Can you imagine what it would be like if she was in the ring?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll
But
see.
she probably saw how women were treated in the show. She's like, I don't know about this.
I don't blame her.
Neither do I.
If she does come to AEW, because it seems like she's still healing from the injury, her match with Saraya,
Yeah.
that would be so good.
I think it would be honestly really, really good because you've got such a story from that.
Right.
Because
Oh, for
that was
sure.
the kick that kind of, sent her down. I don't want to make it seem like that was her fault or anything.
No, yeah.
But like that's such a good story to
Right.
fall back on.
She set the world on fire with Stardom, with the New Japan Pro Wrestling. She's done that. So I feel like maybe it's time to come back to the American TV.
Yeah, I would love to see it. Honestly, I want to see her fight Shida. I'm not even.
Oh, that'd be cool. Can she save the division though?
It depends. Can she defeat Tony Khan? That's who she's gonna fight.
But here's the thing. Last time I talked to Tony Khan, casually, he's all about the numbers guy. He's always about, oh, this rating, blah, 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 women, ratings. He's all about the ratings, almost like, oh my god, you're obsessed with the ratings. One thing we know about Mercedes is that she brings the numbers. She brings the money. So I feel like it's pretty guaranteed that people will tune in for Mercedes, and then Tony Khan will love it, and we'll get a lot more bookings. And that's what we said about everyone, including Ruby,
Yes.
Athena, Saraya. Yes, we said that, but fifth time's a charm.
Tony Khan's just out there like, I don't care if you're Britney freaking Spears. No one's gonna steal my spot.
No one's gonna book women's division in this company. Let's go to All Out. Kris Statlander, the TBS champion, versus Ruby Soho.
With the coolest hair.
Oh my gosh, so cool.
And then I thought Kris Statlander's Zoolander outfit was really cute too.
That's what that was.
I saw it, I was like, oh, I feel like I should get this reference, but I don't. So, okay, I'm just going to be like, appreciate it for what it is, but I had no idea.
She's trying her best. I mean, Jade really set the bar really high, so.
Shout out to Tommy Purr, who I was like looking at pictures with, and he said that it looked like the little things that you put in the middle of a pizza.
Yes. So this match was, what did you think?
It was there. I mean, it was, once again, it wasn't like bad. I can't say like, oh, this is the shits. It was trash. It was just like solid. I wish I could have like, oh, this was awesome. This was great and stuff, but it was just like, it was good.
What did you like?
Ruby's hair.
Beautiful gown. Beautiful gown. No, I really liked Ruby's spots here. She came in with some moves.
I liked it. She came in with some moves. I really want some story, and I want to be invested in these characters. It's what I've been saying about AEW all the time. It's giving me very indie vibes, and when I'm watching a televised product, I want to watch a TV show. I want to have characters. I want to have story. I want to have depth.
I feel like a lot of time the matches that we see in AEW, especially for women, are not TV matches. They're just like really good, solid wrestling matches.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're playing up to the TV or wrestling for the audience at home. Because shout out to Taz who taught me this. Everybody who works TV, you're not wrestling for the audience there. Like that was easy. They're already there. You're wrestling for everybody at home. And I think it's not even their fault. I think it just might be the culture and the expectations that is set backstage and by producers and stuff from it. So I feel like if it was focused more on the TV aspect of it, and will help out a lot with more like character development and more like vignettes that like push the storyline somewhere. Because I feel like sometimes with vignettes and like promos and stuff, I'm like, so like what now?
Because Ruby and Statlander actually has a pretty good storyline, because remember, the first time that the fans turned on Ruby was the match against Kris Statlander, because like people were so upset that Ruby defeated Kris Statlander, people were booing Ruby. So there's a storyline aspect there, they just didn't really fully taken advantage of it.
Yeah, I feel like we're literally digging at the bottom of the barrel for certain things and being like, okay, I can pull this and pull that, and that's what the story is.
But here's the thing, I gave up on that because, I mean, I feel...
That's the point.
No, but here's the thing, this is what Pero told me. It's just innately different products. Like, WWE is like weekly TV soap opera, and AEW is just like weekly concert series.
I get that.
It's just like different products.
Okay, I don't want to sound like I'm some AEW hater, because I've got friends that work there. If they were to call me tomorrow and say, hey, do you want to come work a match? Definitely would. But the thing that just irks me about it is it's a television show, and that's just not what I want to watch on television.
I feel like a lot of people who are watching AEW are going like, oh, we're going to get this like great TV thing, and we're so used to watching this other product. So it's kind of like hard to switch that mindset, because I feel like Ring of Honor, you already know this is what you're getting. You're getting some amazing wrestling, no real storyline, but this is a great, amazing wrestling. And I feel like AEW is a weird in-between where like people go tuning in to watch TV show.
But let's get back to this match, because
I feel like we went on a whole different tangent.
We had a whole existential crisis.
We really did.
It's like, oh my god.
This is what happened.
But here's the thing. The match, the issue with the match is that I feel like it's an all-out match. The all-out is supposed to be like the WrestleMania of AEW. And I feel like this match didn't go all the way. But knowing Kris Statlander...
Go all out. Never would.
Knowing Statlander, like the frickish athleticism that she has, and Ruby Soho, like I feel like it has so much potential to go all the way just classic match, but I feel like again we kind of resorted back to like the TV match formula of like, oh, Outcasts doing their Outcast stuff. Because at the end of this match we saw Toni Storm crawl out from like inside the ring.
She lives there now, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, which I did love, but like she like messed with Ruby's spray, and that kind of caused Ruby the match. So it's kind of like it's like a TV ending, right?
When she came out from under the ring, it looked more like she escaped.
She's been held captive.
It was great. I loved it. It felt very TV, which that's the part of the match that I was like invested in. So,
you loved it.
I liked that part. Like I liked the wrestling too. I feel like the match itself was a little bit like when we were talking about Raquel and Rhea, where it was a lot of commentary telling us how good these two are without getting shown a lot of it. But I thought it was a good match. But at the very end, I was like, storyline continuity. Things are happening. What are they going to do next? What's the dissension? What's going to happen? Why do I want to tune in next?
Right.
Week?
For me, I feel like it's just missing like one more ingredient for it to be good or even better. Like I feel like Ruby was the punk rock ragdoll, and Kris is like a legit stunt woman. So I'm like, oh, I cannot wait to see these two like literally throw themselves around or throw themselves at the other person, because it's gonna be great because they're both so good at doing physical stuff. Since look at what they are, and I feel like it just left me wanting more. Like it's there, but just give it to me, or add some spice, add some sriracha, some seasoning.
Right.
It's just almost there, but not truly there.
We know that AEW women can throw a lot better match because we've seen so many good matches recently. Like all the stuff from Mercedes Martinez and Statlander recently.
Yeah.
The Hikaru Shida versus Toni Storm match, Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter match. Like all those matches were there. So I feel like for them to like hold back and all in, all out was disappointing.
Yeah.
The AEW products that I've really been interested interesting to me had been the ROH matches. Like, that's been something I've been following more.
Athena's been killing.
Oh my god! Some of her best work.
What's it called? 0 Hour, the 6-woman tag beforehand. I loved that match. I thought that was really great. I thought that every woman that came there, we knew who she was. Like, I know who Willow Nightingale is. I know who Sky Blue is. I know what Diamante's bringing to the table. I know Mercedes Martinez. Like, all of those women that were coming into that match, I was like, I know who you are, and that was entertaining to me. Whereas the two matches that we got with the Fatal 4-Way and with Ruby and Statlander felt a little bit disjointed. It felt like they didn't really have a direction, so just going out there and putting on a standard wrestling match kind of left me just a little bit bored.
I felt the opposite with the 0 Hour one. That was literally for me, like, Tony Khan got so much criticism about women not being in the show, so they put everyone in that show. And this is Chicago. Give Sky Blue a win.
I mean, you are correct.
Yeah.
You are absolutely
literally probably the logical thought behind this. Yeah.
I think it's just, we were talking about Rhea Ripley earlier, how she took kind of the balls and made those little moments to kind of make her character.
Yeah.
I think that's what the women in that match have done. Granted, Hikaru Shida was in the match that I didn't like as well. But I thought that one just worked for me. I just liked that one.
We should talk about Lana. CJ Perry.
I thought she was naked. When she walked out, I was like, is she just wearing a jacket?
Yeah, she's giving little Deborah.
Yeah?
Kinda, yeah.
So CJ Perry has finally arrived at AEW. The Miro was giving a little homage to that lady from the airport. She's like, she's not real! That motherfucker's not real!
I love that.
So I don't know what is going on, but something's cooking, and we know that Lana and Miro will have fun in AEW.
I didn't want to say I forgot that she existed. I just felt out of random nowhere that she came back, but I guess that's kind of cool.
Yeah, if we want storylines in AEW, Lana, CJ Perry will deliver.
She's doing it now.
Yeah.
She brings her whole self to the table.
She brings characters, she brings storylines, so I'm excited about
Yeah, she does her job really well.
2 things about this Lana appearance, though. Number 1, the jacket she was wearing completely matched the pants that I had for Gay Brunch. Somebody just
You really did.
Yeah, I need that for the ensemble. But 2, she totally Rhea Ripley'd Miro because he's sitting there getting choked out. She's just like, let me pose, take off my shoe.
Alright, so that is all we have for Payback, All In, All Out review. Thank you so much. That was a lengthy one.
It was fun though. We got into it there for a little bit.
Yeah.
I loved it.
We had a whole moment. I got emotional talking Trish. We got the whole existential crisis with AEW. But here we are. Hello, where can we all find you?
You can find me at Pullamastar on Instagram and Twitter, and you can find me performing in a different capacity very soon that cannot wait to tell y'all.
I know what it is, and I'm so excited.
And Joey?
You can find me at Joey_Mayberry on Instagram and Twitter, Joey.Mayberry on TikTok. Check out the Golden Era podcast if you love classic women's wrestling like me and Jake Veterano do. We broadcast every single Friday, and if you want to see me wrestle, all of my matches are on my link tree on any of my social media.
Yeah, go subscribe to Golden Era podcast. Joey's famous, Jake is famous, why aren't you watching? I saw the whole clip of you. We're famous. Why is nobody watching us?
People do. It's just not 100,000 of you.
And you can find me at DS Shit on Instagram and Ring the Bell DS on X. And we just hit 100K, and now we got the silver plaque coming. And as that arrives, we're cooking something for ya.
We're cooking? We'll be cooking.
I'm cooking something for you, so that'll be delicious. So
Did we just all red velvet roll?
Yeah, I did, and then I ate it.
get ready for that, and we'll see you next time. Bye.